God. Ask Scott.
Scott, my name's Andrew, and I have ventured into FBA selling. I'm very grateful for the content that you and Greg Mercer and Steve Chu and just everybody has put online, and can't imagine doing it without that guidance. But I only have 60 more seconds, so I'll get to it. I have imported my first product from India and tried to go through all of the quality controls possible, kind of that you and Greg and others have talked about, just short of hiring somebody to inspect the product. So I had pictures and that kind of stuff, but not a physical presence in the factory. We just received the product, and the box as well as the product has some issues. Even after doing the samples and the pictures, the box looks a lot darker than what we expected. So I was wondering how you would handle that when talking to the supplier. Any feedback on that would be great. And I guess I will just look on your site for any answers and insight that you may have. Thank you again, and look forward to it.
Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for the question, and thank you for being a longtime listener. I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate everyone out there listening. I truly love doing these Ask Scott sessions. Again, I love just being able to connect with you guys, so I appreciate you guys really submitting your questions and allowing me to give you some feedback, or for us to kind of have a conversation about it. But okay, so you have a quality control issue. So the very, very first thing I would say is a third party inspection company. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess I have to slow down my mouth when I want to talk. Sometimes my thoughts come quicker than my mouth will allow to speak. All right. Anyway, that's for another conversation. Okay. So I would say a third-party inspection company is a must for you if you've had problems. I think that in the beginning, we can say, you know what, let's go ahead and get a sample or two, see how they come through, and then get a small batch ordered. And then if that's come through okay, then we might be able to take a chance and then order more. Now, with that being said, I interviewed a guy recently who did this, right? He actually went through the whole process. He ordered a product. It came through fine. He shipped it into Amazon. He sold through it. He did a reorder. On the reorder, he goes, I'm not going to do an inspection because everything's been fine up to this point, so I'm just going to send it through. He sent it through, and then he had an issue, not even with the product not working. He had a problem with people saying that it wasn't authentic. And the reason why was because the logo was very, very faint as far as it being visible or legible, so you could see it. It was just really, really faint, and because of that, people were saying that it was a knockoff. And he had like a few complaints, not even that many, and then immediately Amazon pulled that listing, and they suppressed the listing, and they were talking about banning his account if he didn't fix it. So he ended up getting through it. And actually that episode I should probably give you the episode on that one. You might want to listen to that episode. It was a good episode. It was actually the episode before this episode. It was 276. I don't know why I just didn't know that. But anyway, so that's the episode 276. And again, he kind of goes through that whole horror story. But one of the big things he said that would have probably prevented that was a third-party inspection company. So I know Topwin Inspection, they're really good. I've got people that are podcast listeners that have used them, and I also have people that are in my class that have used them, and they all swear by them. The one thing I would say is that they are very, very strict as far as what they're going to pass and what they're not going to pass. And that's a good thing, because ultimately, it's going to come down to you saying yes or no. They're just going to kind of dig through all of the different criteria of that product and kind of doing the quality control, and they're going to give you a report that says or yeah, this looks good, right? but they're going to give you all the stuff that they think that looks defective or that just doesn't meet their standards. And then it's up to you to say, yes, it's okay. I'm going to let that go through. Because what would have happened here is if that would have came through in the picture that Top Win Inspections would have done, it would have came through and then they would have been able to see that the logo was faint, and then they wouldn't have released them from the factory. But now that you have the product, that's when a problem becomes even more complicated, because you're going to have to now tell your supplier that you have a problem with them. And then they're either going to have to say, well, ship them all back, or they're going to have to say, well, we're not going to give you full credit because you have them now. And because of that, maybe we'll give you a discount on your next batch, but we're not going to redo those ones. Or maybe they will. I think it all comes down to the relationship you have with your supplier and your manufacturer. But in order to not even let it get to that point, it would be to have a third-party inspection company do that inspection. And then this way here, you won't run into that obstacle. So again, Top Win Inspections, I have no affiliation with them. Actually, I probably should, because I recommend them all the time. And if anyone else out there has any third-party inspection companies that you guys like or that you guys use, please, send them to me, scott@theamazingseller.com, and I'll look into them. And if you guys have had good experience with them, let me know your experience, and maybe I will mention them in the future. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business, and this way here you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.